All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another Saturday episode of Reaction and Relationship Content from MaggieLu, your favorite matriarchs here on the internet. If you don't know me, I am Maggie the substitute teacher. I have a cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. Lucy and I are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We just wrapped up our session 2 with the ladies. And so what we like to do to give back publicly is we come here and we share our experience as two older women with over 40 years combined marriage experience. So, Lucy, please introduce yourself. Let them know what's different and what are we watching today.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Maggie. All right. I was a little delayed today because my hummingbird feeder was empty, and I had two little hummingbirds sitting on the feeder waiting for their food to come in. So before coming into here, I was prepping their water with the sugar, putting it all in, out, cleaning it up. So again, Maggie, that's the reason I was a little late to this. I had to take care of my hummingbirds. So what we are seeing today, okay, so let me go back. I'm Lucy. I have a video, I have a YouTube channel. Generally has content about Spanish speaking, but this year I changed it to more content about femininity, elegance, and things that impact women over a certain age. And the video that I'm sharing is about, it has our favorite Viking, Bjorn, I think it's his name. And it talks about sometimes it's okay to walk away.
All right, so as per usual, we are going to play the video. This is our favorite Viking, Bjorn Anderson from Norway, doing his Viking things. So he has a video called Maybe You Need to Walk Away. I have linked the video in the description if you want to watch it without our commentary. But what we do is we play a little bit, then we react to it and give you our perspective as two older women with marriage and relationship experience. We always love to hear what you all say. And I'd love to know what you all think about the setup today, playing around with a few new features. And Lucy says the circles are softer and more delicate. So let us know what you think. I'm going to share my screen and we will get right into Bjorn Anderson. This video, I think, is about 13 minutes long. And here's the disclaimer. He has some moments where he's just doing manly things in the woods. Clearly, Lucy loves it. So we will just let it rock out. And when he talks about something that we can react to, I'll pause it and we will continue.
If someone or something steals your peace, walk away. This is a rule that I have tried to follow for a very long time now, and I think it's a good rule. I think it's a rule that will give you a healthy life, and I want to talk a little bit about this here in this video. And welcome to my Viking camp, by the way. This is a place where I find peace, and I like to spend time here. I have my Viking cabin, and I have a wonderful Viking tent here that I will show you also in this video. And it's a wonderful, peaceful place. And here comes, come on, come. Yeah. Here are the dogs as well. They like to run around here. I believe that there is inner peace, but also, and just as important, the peace around you. And we should try, at least try, to remove ourselves from places and people and situations that steals our peace.
All right, so I interrupt this regularly scheduled program from the forests of Norway to give you all our take on it. Lucy is loving it. I'm having flashbacks to being a Boy Scout mom against my will, but that's what happens when you have boys and being in the woods. And I was looking around these places saying, I go to work every day so that I'm not homeless. Why do I need to play homeless here? But anyway, you didn't ask about all that. What does strike me in all seriousness, Bjorn clearly is a very masculine man. And what my man tells me, ladies, is that at their core, men are happy with simplicity. If you look at his happy Viking cabin, which I didn't see anything that looked warm and wonderful about it, but he loved it. So, number one, we need to allow men to enjoy the things that they like. Number two, the late great Kevin Samuels used to say that we don't understand men. And I think, ladies, we don't take the time to understand that men would be happy either in a cardboard box on the beach or standing around in the woods with meat on a stick around a fire. They are very, very simple creatures. So, what that tells us, ladies, is that all of these warm and wonderful trappings that we have in the modern world, men have built for us. They do that for the women that they love or want to love. They do it for our comfort. They do it for our approval. They do it for our appreciation. So I think when we realize that even the things that we consider basic, men could do without. But what he said before I paused it as he was striking the fire is that there are two types of peace. There's peace within, and then there's the peace around you. And we've talked about this a lot, ladies. If you want to be with a masculine man, that's what we talk about over here. You already know we believe in traditional husband and wife, man and woman, boy and girl, mom and dad. If you want to do something different, that's fine. You just won't be happy over here. But it's very important when a man has come to the point in his own life where he has that inner peace for himself, however it took him to get there, he is going to be very, very intolerant of having a chaotic environment. So, ladies, if you want to be with the type of man who can take care of things, you're going to have to make sure you adjust to the peaceful life that he has created as opposed to bringing him into your chaos. And we are emotional creatures and chaotic by nature. And they know that and they love us. But you want to make sure that you don't get out of hand if you want to keep the relationship that you have or that you want. What would you add, Lucy?
And one of the reasons I love sharing Bjorn's content is because it shows us that men like to do things with their hands. Look at how he cut that wood. Look at how he lit up that fire. Again, and in my mind, I'm thinking, if the world ever came down and we were stranded in the jungle, I would want my man to be able to do those things. Again, and it's also, they appreciate the quiet. They appreciate the peace. So when I've said before, as a wife or as a potential wife, when your husband is coming home and what he wants to find is a quiet place. Why? Because he needs to decompress. Give him the time to be on his own. If he likes to do mechanics, let him be in his garage doing with his cars, tinkering with things, because that's what makes them happy. I can't count the many times that I've heard women say, oh, he's back there working with his cars again. Oh, he's doing something. And it's like, let him be, because you know what? That feeds them. That it's his own little place. And it's just something that he requires to then go out there the following day to start doing the same over and over again.
Excellent point. And we know we have some very strong men in our community. So I would love for you all to put in the chat, what are some of the activities that you like to do? I see you all agree and you concur. What are some of the activities that you like to do in peace and quiet? Let us travel back to Norway for more of Bjorn.
I grew up in the 80s, and it was a time that idolized extreme competition and working yourself to death. It was a time where getting a heart attack because of long working hours was seen almost as treated as a status symbol almost. And I made a choice quite early on that I would not be part of that. I first started taking my university education in economics and business administration, but right at the end I was in a car accident, and that kind of made me think that, this is not what I want to do, and I became a full-time novelist, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I am very happy that I made that choice very early on in life. It was about finding peace and putting myself in a situation and a place where I could find peace. Now, I just had another novel published here in Norway, the 6th novel in the Viking series. Some shameless self-promotion there. And I am very thankful that I can make a living as a novelist, because it is something that gives me peace and joy, of course. At times it can be stressful, but all in all, it's a wonderful job, it's a wonderful occupation. But no matter what you do for a living, I think it's essential that you prioritize peace in yourself and peace in your surroundings and the people around you. I mean, just something like getting away from it all, it's important. Sometimes we also have to make some very hard choices concerning relationships, concerning workplace, and all these things. And that's life, I guess. And I do think that in the present modern society, we do not value peace. We do not value freedom either. What I value that. You probably, if you're still watching, you value peace and you value freedom. But society, the so-called modern society that we live in, they do not value those things. It's a fly.
All right, so let's unpack that. I heard a couple of things I want to respond to. I see the gentlemen are in the chat agreeing with Bjorn. So he was telling us a little bit about his story, and I think Bjorn is intriguing, a little scary in a good way. I'm very curious about him, but he said he was going down one path in life, more of an academic path per se, and then he had a life change, car accident, and then he decided to go down another path. But you know what's interesting, as he's talking about this, and I'm sure he's lived a life like all of us, he doesn't talk about a woman that made him want to do something differently. His own life direction and his own life purpose and the peace that he was seeking out is why he decided to go from career A, which was going to be stressful, and then go to career B, which now he writes about his Norway way of life, and he's a published author. So the takeaway for that, ladies, is that I often say this, but you are not going to wrestle a man to the ground to do your will. You are not going to find him as a diamond in the rough and say, oh, Bjorn he's so handsome. If we could just cut off that Viking hair and shave that beard and put him in a suit, he would just be perfect. He would be my perfect, Wall Street whatever. That's not how it works, ladies. A man is who he is. A man has his own purpose and his own calling. This is why I'm always beating the drum about dating with intention. So I tell the ladies that I coach and consult with, you need to think about the type of life that you want to live. I'm sure Bjorn is amazing. I don't want to live in the Norway forest. So it would not be wise for me to try and hitch my wagon to his, and then I'm nagging him for the rest of his life, trying to get him to change who he is for me. Clearly, Bjorn didn't. He made his own changes in his own time. And if you listened very carefully, he said, you have to make sacrifices along the way in relationships, in jobs, in whatever else. So there were clearly some things, and he doesn't tell us everything, and that's fine. But if you listen to what's being said and what's not being said, the takeaway is that a masculine man can love you and leave you. He can love you from afar. He can appreciate who you are, but not want you in his inner circle, because he will not sacrifice his peace. And back to point one, because men are willing to be comfortable with a lot less. Everything that you think you're bringing to him, maybe it's a value to you, but is it really a value to him? What would you add, Lucy?
That was incredibly well put, Maggie. It's amazing. You have such a your words, the way you present information, it's amazing. And that is something that I aspire to ever do. I know that I'm not gonna get there because I'm old, but it's something that I think that it's that gift that you have with how you present information. Excuse me. But he said peace many, many times. So again, when men tell you that they want peace and they want freedom to be able to do what they want, it means that if you're a husband, if you're a wife or a girlfriend, the nagging, that's not peace for them. That is something that, I know that there are women that want to tell the husbands to get a bigger promotion, to get a better job. That's not going to happen. You married the man as you met him, and whenever he decides he's going to do something, he will do it. Again, leave your husbands, leave your men alone doing the things that they love doing. And we will find ways to be happy on our side. Again, you can have a beautiful marriage, a beautiful relationship, allowing your man to have his peace, because that's all that he wants. Respect and peace.
Absolutely. So let's come into the comments and see what you all are saying here. So we've got Forever Toxic. Marquez is here. Dr. Steele is here. We got Mega Whimsicott is here. Thank you. We got some new people here. Excuse me, UFO Kamikaze is in the house, and he agrees that this is true. We have Rodney saying world peace is impossible, while inner peace is very possible. And yes, ladies, I think it's beautiful how men are very clear what they can control and what they can't. And men will walk away from something that is not worth the energy that they would have to expound to change it if it's really not that important to them. But that inner peace, because wherever you go, there you are. And a man has to have that inner peace, because the world he lives in, it's demanding, it's competitive, it's chaotic, there's always that wolf hiding in the forest with the glittering eyes, while we are just skipping through, smelling the flowers like everything is great. I'll speak for myself. That's what I've been told. We got World Class here. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Rodney has a question. He says, do women routinely date men just to change them, like rearranging a room? Unfortunately, I wish I could disagree, but I think so. I think we women, and this is arrogance, I think we know best, because men are different. We look at that difference like it is less than. Because men don't talk as much, we think men need us to speak for them. Because men don't need all of the shiny new things, we think that we can upgrade them. And again, I think that's arrogance. And a lot of women will try. A masculine man will not allow you to change him. He is who he is, and he was that before you came along, and will be that way if you are gone. So I always tell my ladies, you can accept with grace or you can exit with grace. But what you cannot do is nag him, wrestle him to the ground, or try to change him. You'll find yourself alone. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. And men, they're wired to think about, again, the assets and liabilities. They're all constantly thinking about, is it worth taking this risk? Is it worth doing this? Is she worth my peace? Again, they're always thinking about that and looking at what would work for them in the long run. So again, for me, I love watching Bjorn because he reminds me of my husband is like that. I can leave him alone in the backyard doing his little tractor thing. I see him, it's little boys. You see them working with tractors when they're or the Tonka trucks. That's how they grow up to be because they love doing things. So again, to me, it's heartbreaking to hear all these women wanting to change their men when they married them because they loved them at that point.
All right, so keep the comments coming. We're going to go back into the forests of Norway with Bjorn.
And that's a big shame, because it makes people unhealthy and unhappy. I believe that finding peace is also about courage, because it takes courage to make those difficult and hard choices that you will probably have to make in order to find that peace. And a lot of people, they just go on with their daily lives and they wonder why they're so unhappy. They just go on and they do the same as the day before, and they are not happy. But they just go on and on and on until they die. To me, it's not a big mystery why those people are unhappy and why they will never be happy, because they don't make changes. They don't have the courage to make those changes. And this is something that is easy to understand, and it's easy to point at other people, and say that this person should do this and that. It's not so easy when it's about ourselves. Now this place here, which is kind of my Viking camp, it used to be a lot more peaceful, but now because of all the building of new houses in the area around this property, often I can hear helicopters going back and forth with building materials and traffic sometimes even. So it's not as peaceful as it used to be. So, that's a shame, but that's just how it is. And I do find peace here still, I do. But I also, much more often, I go out in the woods, and I tend to hike further and further away to find that peace and tranquility. Now this tent was sent to me, well, the woolen part, not the frame. I built the frame myself, but the tent fabric was sent to me by, I think they're called Malturs, and they make things like this, Viking and medieval stuff. So check them out if you're interested in that. No, I'm not being paid to say this. I just think it was a very kind thing to send me this tent.
All right, so a couple of things came to mind that when I want to unpack as we're taking a tour of the Viking camp. And in all seriousness, ladies, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a girl just like you all. And I look at that and I think I would be miserable out there, but it's not about me. If you want to be a wife, being a wife is actually a very selfless role. And it's actually very humble, understanding that it's not always about us. It's not, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. Like Lucy said, it's not about belittling our men with their hobbies. I look at that tent and I'm like, okay, But notice how he's showing off something that he made with his bare hands. Men are very productive and they like to create, they like to produce. We women don't. That's fine. Generally, we are the ones who take it and make it beautiful, but men like to go from nothing to something. We are just different. I always say we're not equal, we're equally valued, but we're very different. So allow your man, allow your husband to have, like Lucy said, his hobbies. And even if you don't understand it, even if you look at it and you think, what is that? I'm guilty of that. I remember my ex-husband would collect, spare parts and go tinker on the car. And I was just kind of like, why do we have all of this? But what I've learned the hard way, and second time around I got on the program, did you notice how he said he likes to walk further and further into the woods to get away because he's in an area where there's development coming around him? We women, we like to connect with others to replenish ourselves, but men are usually the opposite. They like to retreat from people to replenish themselves. And it's not better or worse, it's just different. And I think that a lot of modern women put too much, I've heard this, we put too much on men, where they're supposed to be our bestie, our soulmate, our plus one, our, constant date, our therapist, like all of these things. And we're just on top of each other all the time. It's too much. So if you find yourself, ladies, getting feedback from your man or the man that you want to have, that he feels a little bit pressured, a little bit stressed out, you're coming on too strong, you're doing too much, let him be, and then let him come to you. And believe me, when he's got his peace and he's decompressed the way he wants to, I always tell my ladies, when he comes up for air, he will come find you. Believe me. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and it takes me back to the importance of understanding the person that you're dating, to understand the kind of hobbies they do, because again, you got to have similar values. Let's say that you're dating somebody that's like Bjorn, and he likes going hiking and he likes doing all of these like nature things, and you're a city girl. Initially, you're going to pretend that probably that is something that you can relate to in a little bit, but then as time goes by, he's still going to be the Bjorn that he is. He's going to keep going on hikes, and he's going to keep loving nature, and is going to want to be doing things. And then it gets to a point where you're like, well, that wasn't really for me. So again, it's so important to understand what their interests are at the beginning, to make that decision that you're going to support him on whatever he decides to do, because then that's going to make a healthy relationship. Otherwise, you're going to be butting heads, and that's probably not going to be a successful relationship in the long run.
Agreed. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. We have UFO Kamikaze 1. He says, you left a job working for DuPont calibrating instrumentation back in 2000 to be a forestry supervisor again, and you've never regretted it. Yeah, absolutely, ladies. Now, I've had to learn this the hard way as a mother. I come from academia. My ex-husband's family is military, and I thought we would be doing the whole college tours and whatever, and both of the boys have decided to go into the service. So I'm in a new world that I don't really know what is going on, but I have to trust that they're young men now and they have to go their own way and choose their own path. Because ladies, what I tell the ladies that I coach and consult with, if you nag a man or twist his arm to do anything, well, first of all, a masculine man is not going to let you. But if you have the kind of man that will just give in just to shut you up, believe me, he will silently resent you for it. And then that's going to build. And then you wonder why you have a little bit of cold shoulder. He stays out longer. He doesn't really want to talk to you. It's so much better if you let them arrive there on their own and you have the things that can keep you occupied so you're not, breathing fire down his back. Rodney says men don't want another mother or to be smothered by a woman's concerns. Yeah, we have a lot of baby Bjorns, respectfully, in the chat. Rodney also says, I don't believe that men are simple. I believe that men are blessed to compartmentalize their thoughts about life and issues. I'm unsure if women can compartmentalize their feelings. I understand. And thank you for saying that. I remember hearing somewhere that a man's brain is like a waffle, and a woman's brain is like spaghetti. So we have all of our noodles and sauce and cheese and everything on top of each other tangled in. We go from here to there. And what about this? And if an asteroid hits the earth, and oh my gosh, you know, do you think she's pretty? And do I look fat? And like, we are all over the place, ladies. We just are. And if they love us, they love that about us within limits. I was talking to a man earlier today who said, I can be completely devastated on the inside about something and stand there and do my job and greet people and smile and wait to go, you know, deal with my emotions at the gym or cry in the car or whatever later. They can put memories and emotions in their proper place because men have had to in order to survive. Every coach, every father, every uncle, quit your crying, we got work to do. So men have been conditioned to take the hard road. Ladies, you have to ask yourself, have you been a pampered princess and nobody required you to toughen up? Not in a masculine way, but are you an exposed nerve out here where everybody's got to know how you feel and everybody's got to hear about it? And if you're not happy, then the world can't go on. You'll find yourself alone. UFO Kamikaze says again, you graduated law enforcement academy. Congratulations. Back in 2011 and left a career in law enforcement to start my own forestry related business. Still no regrets. Are you all seeing the red thread here? The man wants to be in the woods. This is Bjorn's brother from another mother. They are all here. The men want to be left alone to do their nature thing. Hello, Lady C is here. Yes, you all are agreeing. Okay, wonderful. Rodney says, excellent analogy, Miss Maggie, about the waffle and spaghetti. Y'all know I'm always here for the snacks. Come find me when you get hungry. And UFO Kamikaze is giving us a movie recommendation, Greenland. Okay, let's go back to the woods.
Also, it seems to me that people tend to make excuses so that they will avoid making changes in their lives. Some people are just, they're experts at making excuses and avoiding change. And I can almost already see the comments to this video, oh, it's easy for you to say this and that, and also the comments that claim that I'm fake, that nothing what I'm saying applies to my life, that I'm, all of that, I guess you always get the fair share of trolls and haters and all that, but and it doesn't worry me, it doesn't bother me so much, but it bothers me that people today in this time and age, they make excuses for everything instead of making changes. And it only affects them and, well, people around them, I guess, but they are their own victims for not making those changes, for staying in that unhappy situation. And instead of writing a hateful, stupid comment, try to make some changes, some positive changes in your life, instead of just writing that, I can't do this, I can't do that because of this and that. Life is difficult, and it's difficult for most people. But it's like talking to a wall sometimes. But one thing that I do know, and one thing that everyone can do, is to get out and into nature. Spend time in nature. it's something that I feel that everyone can do, no matter what. There are no excuses for just sitting in a box your entire life, staring at the screen, and staring at that smartphone. I've said it a million times now, but I think it's true. Get out there, out in nature. It's going to be another sunny and beautiful day here in southeastern Norway, and it's summer. I can hear the birds singing, and I might do some archery later today. You can probably spot my target, the foam pad to my right here, because I also do some archery here. And these things, I do them because I enjoy them, and it brings me peace.
Oh, Bjorn, out in the woods. Did you notice he says it's summer in Norway and he's wearing wool? I'll leave it right there, says the tropical girl. All right, so a couple things I want to unpack from this one. Bjorn talked about excuses or changes. Do you make excuses or do you make changes? And I would challenge all of us to ask. We're coming up on the end of the year and the holidays, and before you know it, it'll be a new year. Are you moving towards whatever goals you have, or are you continuing to blame people, to blame circumstances? Especially ladies, those of us, we don't have the best reputation for taking accountability. And because masculine men are men of action, you're not going to get too far with a man complaining. I've heard it all. Well, nobody taught me. Well, I'm not really like that. This person brings it out of me. Well, I didn't know. Well, I didn't have enough time. My man will he'll just flat out look at you and say, so what are you going to do about it? And so if you don't have an answer to that, I would make sure that you think very clearly about whether or not you're actually making changes. Even if those changes don't work, you're actually moving off from that spot. That was one thing. The other thing, I can't get over just him being in nature and just doing what he does. And, maybe I'm preaching to myself here, but ladies, if you find that your man goes away from you to do his hobbies, and that's fine, give them their time. But I do like what Lucy said about get to know what they do. Get to understand. Maybe you can ask some questions. My man, he'll like to twist on the car and I'll just bring him a lemonade, or if he's doing something in the yard, check, do you need anything? They like being able to be themselves around their woman. All of us have to be a certain person out in the world, out in the work world. And the last place a man wants to wear a mask and, lie about who he is at home, is in his kingdom. So if you can be curious, hey babe, what are you building? Not to nag him, but you might find that he opens up and wants to spend a little bit more time with you. But I've heard women sit there, why do you even like watching anime? What is this about? You have to play those video games. When you act like that, then they're going to want to be farther away from you to have that peace and that joy. What would you add, Lucy?
When I see him, I always think about that one concept that was thrown around not too long ago, that would you prefer a man or a bear, to be left alone with a man or a bear? Are you kidding me? This man, did you see those knives? They are as sharp. He was making his little, I don't know, his little tool, that pointy tool, I guess maybe for the archery, his arrow. So again, what is that? And that goes back to women not taking the time to learn men. Another thing is that when a man invites his woman into his environment, that is one of the biggest compliments, because it tells you that he feels comfortable bringing you into his world. So again, this is for me one more item to start learning to appreciate men for the men that they are, for what they bring to our world, because we have somehow been told that it's completely different, and men are going to be men whether it's now or 20 years from now. So instead of being an opposing force, why not appreciate what they can do for us?
Absolutely. Let's see what you all are saying in the comments. Big Stags, thank you for the feedback. You all like the circles. Rodney has another question. He says, do men and women find happiness in different ways based on their biological and social norms and boundaries? Biology, I would say yes. Social norms, what are the social norms now? Um, yes, ish. And boundaries, I'm not too sure I understand. I'll give you an example of each. Biologically, like I said, we women are more to want to like celebrate and talk and connect and bond that way. Men are more opposite. They want to get away from the chaos to center themselves. So I think women usually, yes, are happier when they're with their girlfriends or, ladies' night or whatever, maybe a girls' trip. I don't know. But yes, I think women kind of find happiness more in that. We run to social media to share stuff. Men are more private. They're not really trying to do all that. Social norms. Yeah, I'm just thinking about not only social media, but like in purchases, women love to get, the latest bag, shoe, whatever it is. Men have their trusty boots, truck, jeans, or whatever, maybe a few things different. But I would say, yes, we're different, but I accept wholeheartedly we're not the same. I think our differences are beautiful, though. What would you add, Lucy?
And notice that we as women, we are followers. We like trends, the newest thing, to do, the newer dance, the newest makeup, the newest everything. Whereas men, they will have the watch that his father gave him 30 years ago or so. Again, men are consistent, masculine men. Now, there are other type of men. That's not the men that we're talking about. We're talking about masculine men that stay in their frame and they know what they want for life itself and for the woman that they're looking for.
Agreed. UFO Kamikaze is still telling us about his career. He says we work 12-hour rotating shifts at DuPont inside a massive facility with no windows. It felt like a prison over time. I had to escape. Yeah, that sounds terrible just listening to it. Hello, Big Stags. Thank you so much for being here. And Rodney agrees that nature breathes peace into the busyness of thoughts and feelings. I do agree with that. Y'all know I'm over here. I'm not your nature girl or your animal girl, but I do think that change of environment, that change of scenery, even if it's just taking a different route down a country road and maybe getting some fresh air, but definitely doing something to get away from the screens, the beeping, the buzzing, the like all of this that's around us. And, we're not trying to go back to the past. We're using social media now as a tool, but you can't be consumed by it. The kosher clinician is here. Says hello, Lucy in chat. Must do a show again soon. Love your insight. Thank you so much for being here. Rodney says, to some men, we have the luxury of a man's cave. Yes, lady. So if your man has an office, a basement, a man cave, I would say enter when invited. I would not go in there redecorating. Why do you have these, Star Wars figures? Let them be. Usually that's the one place in the house they can control, unfortunately. Gillis is here. She says, Bjorn's videos are my favorite reaction videos from Kid and Play. Whether you call us Kid and Play, Thelma and Louise, Ebony and Ivory, Maggie, Lucy, MaggieLu, we are here. If your mother didn't teach you, ladies, Auntie Maggie and Tia Lucy will do it. Social norms are ever changing, even with the generations. Absolutely. And it's so true, Miss Maggie and Mrs. Lucy. I eat food and wear certain clothes for decades. Yes, ladies, that's just how men are. All right, let's listen to the end of the video and then we will wrap it up.
Peace, freedom, happiness. It's all connected. And I think that if you miss one of those, or should I say, if you miss freedom, if you don't have freedom, and if you don't have peace, you will not be happy. And I think happiness is a result of those two and some other things. So how do you find peace? And do you think that finding peace And keeping that peace is important. Leave a comment and share your opinion on this. And as always, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It will help the channel tremendously if you do that.
All right. Oh, thank you so much, Swab D, coming through. Always so generous. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for the $10. I love the nerd in me got excited when he talked about this equation. I want to know if you all agree. Peace plus freedom equals happiness. I would agree. Now, I know sometimes, ladies, we think I'll be happy when I get the new thing, the bigger house, the faster car, the taller man, whatever. But I really think, especially the older that you get, Lucy and I are two older women. I am realizing more and more, and I have a lot and I do a lot. But what really gives me that lasting joy is those peaceful moments and the freedom to move the way that I want to move when I want to move that way. And yes, we have to work hard and you have to earn it. Bjorn, I'm sure, is an older man too, but the wisdom that just comes from, full circle, being simple and having that freedom. So ladies, when you look at a man that is unbothered, don't think, oh, he's just that crazy man in the forest. No, really listen to him. And you're seeing from the men in the chat, there's a red thread there. A lot of them agree. If they could, they would probably, have a lot more simple life and a lot more freedom, but they make so many sacrifices for us. And I think appreciating that awareness and understanding that if they could be out in the woods, kill it and eat it, they probably would. That's who men are at their core. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not toxic. They're not barbarians. That's just a man. And believe me, that's the kind of man that you want when trouble is coming on the horizon. So I'm so grateful for my man, the men in my family, the men in our community. All right, let's see what you all are saying. What would you add, Lucy? And then we'll go to the chat.
Oh, what he said about us going outside and experiencing nature, that is something that I think in the modern world, that's why a lot of the kids are so anxious, because nature teaches you how to be more grounded. It teaches you how to appreciate the little things. For example, the hummingbird thing. I go out there and change my little hummingbird things, and then I go and remove some weeds from back there, and then I look at my dogs. They start jumping, and I don't need to go out in the forest. I have my own little getaway in the back, but you have to go and experience just the natural things, natural life in the back, the sun, breathing, the chocolate solution. Thank you so much. Thank you both for continuing to have the conversation. Love you, Miss Maggie. Please keep doing what you do. Thank you so much, Chocolate Solution. You are so kind. And Grown Men Talking, thank you so much as well. I think you get the chats a little later than I do. Thank you as well. So again, if you know of a guy that you're interested in, that he goes hiking and doing other things, if I were looking to maybe have some kind of relationship with that man, I would get into doing things with my head, maybe gardening, doing things in nature, just to start getting together to your same values, to appreciating what he does when he goes hiking. And then you say, in a conversation, oh, you do hiking, I have a garden. And you start talking about nature, and nature will get you together. Again, that is one of those things that sometimes I hear young people talking, and it's like, find that common thread that will get you more interested on each other.
Oh, I absolutely love that. So my forest experience is going to the fridge and chopping up parsley, chopping up cilantro, vegetables. Admittedly, you all, I know I'm not a nature girl. I was a Girl Scout. I camped one day and it was a bad experience. But I have other value add, believe me. But I do like what Lucy said. Ladies, if you are with a man or want to be with a man and he has some hobbies that you are a little bit confused about, ask him. One of the things the late great Kevin Samuel said is that we don't allow men to have the full human experience. How many people have probably brushed him off, told him that was stupid, dumb? Why would anybody do that? Why do you like that? Ask him. Try to learn something. I'm curious. My man has some type of luxury car and he wanted to put some enhancement on it. He could have taken it to the dealer and had them do it, but he wanted to do it himself. He wanted to buy the parts and he would call me while he was working on it. It was on, like, I was in his earpiece and I heard him, like, how you, not me, but how you have to contort your body to get him. And I'm hearing him do all this stuff. In my mind, I'm thinking, why would you do that? Just take it to the dealership and let them do it. But the pride, the next time he came to pick me up and this thing was on his car, he was like, yeah, I did that. And so just applaud them, ask questions, be curious. One of the things he loves is just having me there when he's doing his thing, whether it's physically there or virtually there. It's relaxing, it's soothing to them if you are the type of woman that brings peace. And I think showing a man, complimenting him and saying, wow, I didn't know that. I learned something today. Or wow, you made that or you built that. I think that goes a long way, especially our men are not used to getting compliments. So I think you could definitely stand out. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat. And then we will wrap up. So Rodney was talking about his consistent uniform. That's so true. And men love that stuff. So Suave D has another name for us. So Cagney and Lacey, in addition to Thelma and Louise, in addition to Kid and Play, in addition to MaggieLu, Maggie and Lucy, Auntie and Tia. We're just happy to be here with you all. And thank you so much. We will receive it graciously. Gillis is here saying thank you. Gillis says, Bjorn is the Scandinavian Dalai Lama. He is very centered. Have you noticed that? Underneath there is a dragon if needs to be. But I love how men can really control themselves and even through the screen. Like I have a healthy respect of, hey, I see that Viking shield on the wall. Like, Bjorn, do your thing. Gillis says, jokes aside, he is very calming and almost like I'm grounded when I listen to him. I need to follow his channel. Yeah, Lucy brought our favorite Viking to me. And ladies, again, don't believe this modern world that we're the same. We are not. You notice you have that curiosity about Bjorn, whether you see yourself in the Scandinavian forest or not, but you notice how a man in his simplicity, in his masculinity, just commands the conversation without raising his voice, without doing anything. He just sharpens his arrows. So he is not one to be messed with. So thank you again, The Chocolate Solution. We appreciate you. Thank you, Grown Men Talking. You all are so generous. We appreciate it so much. UFO Kamikaze says that birds chirping in the morning are my alarm clock. Yeah. I'm not a city girl. I live y'all know I'm in Atlanta, so I'm in the suburbs. But when you go out far into the woods, like when the boys would go camping, it really is beautiful how you can see the sky at night when it's dark and you don't have all the skyscrapers, or you can hear the animals in their natural environment. It really is amazing. We have one of our moderators here. The International Quiet Storm is here. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's see if there's anything else. Hello, Mona Diaz in the house. Lady C is laughing. Happy Saturday, everyone. Okay, you called me out. I was not camping at the Holiday Inn, but I was on snacks as a scout mom. Or meals. So I would go and I would cook on the propane stove for the boys as they were circling around me. And as they were pitching their tents, I would quietly pack up everything and discreetly get in my car so that I could come home and sleep in my bed and shower. And then at the crack of dawn in the morning, I would be back before anybody came out of those tents, freshly washed and up with the sun to make breakfast for the kids. I can't sleep in the woods. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Everybody's doing well. Gillis says there's proven science behind grounding, earthing. NIH, National Institutes of Health, has a write-up on it. It reduces inflammation, amongst other things. Wonderful. All right, everybody good? Yes, thank you all for liking and sharing. Mona says, I like hearing and seeing the animals, but from a distance. Yes, for me, it's behind glass. I love it, though. It's beautiful. And you saw foxes one morning when you went for a jog and you were done. I am the glamping queen. Yes, I wear it proudly. You all know where to find me when you get hungry. The International Quiet Storm says Holiday Inn Lives Matter. Okay, and we are done. Charles D says adopting to a new way of life is too much to ask for both men and women. Finding a like-minded person is the way to go. And I agree. Ladies, the takeaway is that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And what I tell the ladies is we cannot change them. So find the man that you can see happily submitting to, that you can see hitching your wagon to, that you can let him do his thing. You all come together and it's your time together because you wouldn't want anybody to change you. So again, dating is to determine if this is a suitable match for marriage or long-term. And if it's not, doesn't make anybody a bad person, but let him have his peace so that you can have yours. Y'all are still clowning me. Any final words, Lucy?
I wanted to get back to the Killis comment about grounding. There is, when you hear people saying, touch grass, that's exactly what they mean. Go out there, and if you can put your feet on grass, that will, it's something to do with us being connected to that vibration of the earth. It's a huge science that goes with that, but it's so important to appreciate nature because there are natural it's kind of like a natural medicine for us. When you're depressed, go outside. When you're sad, go outside. When you're angry, go outside. Again, there's something about why the universe, I believe in God, why God created this beautiful planet as it is. It is because we can find that healing power from it.
Absolutely. And I agree. For me, it'll be the botanical gardens, but I love nature. Absolutely. Please go outside in all seriousness, y'all. Get some fresh air wherever you live. Hopefully, well, it's summer in Norway, whether you have your wool on, try and spend some time finding peace for you and then work on making changes, not excuses, to have a peaceful environment as much as you can. All right. So with that, hopefully your energy and you all are feeling calmer and more soothed. We will see you all next week, Wednesday. Lucy and I are here Wednesdays and Saturdays for you all. So we will be back next Wednesday with another reaction video. Yes, first class tickets at the Arbory. Look, y'all can make fun of me. I accept my shortcomings. But thank you to all of our moderators. Thank you all for being so engaged today. Thank you, Suave D, for the $10. Thank you, Chocolate Solution, for the $19.99. Thank you, Grown Men Talking, for the $10. You all are incredibly generous. We just want to give back, and we appreciate you so much. All right, everyone. Until Wednesday, enjoy your weekend. I'm off to the ballet, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.